Okay guys, these are the shocks for my 110 scale touring car. I'm going to show you this really cool upgrade we've got here. So your standard shock has, you got your regular piston that's in there, you got your holes, and you got the different diameter holes to adjust how much fluid flow you're going to get up and down to the piston. So that's the standard size, and what we're going to be upgrading to is this insert right here that has these little channels cut out on the outside. So this piston is different because this piston doesn't have any holes in it, and so basically I've already got this one installed. If you can see there, you install it with the V up and it'll push out, but the whole idea of this is as the shock compresses, it's a variable dampening. So when it gets to the end of the travel up, it reduces the amount of fluid that's going to be going from one side of the piston to the other. So it will allow the piston to go down quickly, because as it goes down, the gaps all the way around, those little triangles, they open up. So any dips in the track, or the piston's going to be able to react to it quicker to go into those little gaps and keep the car planted on the track better. So pretty excited about this upgrade. There's a couple of companies that do this, that have this style of deal, but this is a Team C. So they've got this upgrade kit for their touring cars. They also have it for some of the other ones as well. So anyway, it's pretty easy to do upgrade. We take the cap off, take the fluid out, and we use our pliers that don't damage the shock shaft, and we take that bottom piece off, and then we take this piston out of there, and that's what we got. So I'm going to take that C-clip off, and sticking clip there, E-clip. So let me slide that back on there, and without damaging this new piston on the outside, I'm going to snap that sucker back on there. Now the bore, still, it's nice and clean, and here we got the sleeve. So I'm going to make sure that I install that sleeve with the big part down, because I want it to compress, or to lower the amount of fluid going through as it compresses tighter and tighter. So we slide that sleeve in there, and it sits down a little bit. It's not perfectly flush with that outside, so you got room for the bladder that's going to be going in there. So then we get that piston in there, and there we go. We got the second one done. Grade done. So we've got two more of these to do, and then we're going to put some fluid in there. These pistons are made so that with them being blank, that if after you put them in and you've messed with fluids, the different CSTs or thicknesses of fluids, that if it's still not quite right, you can take your own tiny drill bits and you can drill holes to increase your fluid flow. For those that want to do this upgrade, I'm going to have to figured people want to get some measurements on this. This upgrade kit for touring cars is available at Hobby King, and if you look at BT-4, that car, you can find it there. But these are the numbers for that part. Works on Team C and also the Hobby Kings rebrand of the BT4. But so the people that want to see if it'll fit their car, the inserts are 14 millimeters tall and 10.98 millimeters wide. The shock bodies themselves of my Team C car here are 11 millimeters. I'll move on to the next variable dampening system that I would like to show you guys. Alright guys, the other pistons I want to show you is another, this is like a two-stage piston. This is RPM's design. They come with, I don't have the package anymore, but they come with a whole bunch of different colored, coded pistons that have different size of holes, different combination of holes. So how they work when you disassemble your shocks, you take that bottom E-clip off, and these little pistons come off a tree that you pop off, but they're two separate pieces, and then instructions that come with it are really good. Show you how to assemble it, which direction. So it's keyed, it goes together only one way, and it's kind of easier to show, I think, with the piston assembled on the shaft. So anyway, we'll put them together, get them back to lined up. There we go. Okay. So how these work is on this side of the piston, you see you got 4 holes. It'll be difficult to see it right now, but if you look through daylight, you'll see that 2 of the holes are plugged, 2 of the holes are open. Now on the back side of these pistons, you'll see there's lots of holes. There's tons of them. So in effect, what happens with these pistons after we put the other little E-clip on the bottom is this bottom piston stays stationary. It doesn't move around. So when your shock piston compresses, the discs push together and only 2 of the holes are open, so it resists the push with 2 pistons. Now when the shock wants to come back to original position, that the bottom one stays stationary and the top disc separates from the other one, and which in turn all the flow of fluid can go through all those holes, and it effectively opens up the other 2 holes that are on this top piston. So basically you got a slow compression and a quick rebound, and this is really good for off-road vehicles when you're on dirt and very bumpy surfaces and you need the shock to be able to come down quickly to go into the dips of holes, and then you got the slow compression upwards that smoothens everything out. And that's the effective use of this. The only thing you got to watch out for if you use these are this E-clip right here. This is, if you can see it, it slides into this little cavity, this little pocket that's in the top, and it allows that top piston to slide up and down. Now there's a lot of E-clips out there that are wider or thicker, and if you snap them together, it floats on this outside ridge and it won't allow that top piston to slide up and down. And you can just check that pulling it up and down when you get the whole thing assembled. And so that effectively you get 2 different dampening rates, stiffer up, softer down. If you were experimenting individual and you wanted to do it the opposite way, you could possibly flip it upside down, I guess, but that wasn't the intention of the design of this. You can still get these. They sell out quick once they get a batch in, and then they you wait a little while, you can look for them, and then you'll find them again. I wish I could have the part number to show you, but they come in 2 different packages. One's a heavy dampening and one's the lighter dampening. So they have a set of pistons that are for really heavy dampening and a separate group just for the lighter. So if you want the whole gambit of all the different size of holes and combinations, you'd buy both. And then you can experiment as much as you want on both. Basically, also the other thing you watch out for, because these are 10 millimeter pistons, so they fit in the standard Traxxas stock shocks. Also in the big bore shocks, they are the same size of bore. They are not big bore. They're the same. But any 10 millimeter shock, they will fit inside. Now these I pulled off the tree, so they got a little bit extra plastic around them, and it's really tight trying to put it in there. So I recommend just either, if you're going to do it cheap wise, you can pull it off and take some sandpaper and sand as evenly as you can around the outside edge until you knock off all the high spots. Keep trying it until the piston slides smooth in inside and out. See, I've already got this one in. It's installed. It's been running in this vehicle. And so just knock off the high spots. The other one I like even better is I use a Dremel. It's kind of like the looks like a tiny miniature die grinder bit, and it fits great in this. You can put the thread through there, stick it in a drill bit. I think the Dremel's a little bit too fast, but you stick it in the drill bit and it tightens down these two together, and then you can spin it on a piece of sandpaper, and so it evenly sands it down. And so you just do a little bit at a time until the piston slides nice and easy in and out of there. So anyway, that's down and dirty quick version of how the RPM dual stage pistons work and how to install them in a way.